The CEO found her childhood photo in the single dad's wallet. Then he finally told her why the moment the worn-out leather wallet slipped from the grocery delivery driver's pocket onto the polished marble floor, nobody expected a single faded photograph to bring an entire corporate empire to silence. The elegant CEO bent down to pick it up, intending only to return it, but the instant her eyes landed on the picture, every breath in her chest disappeared. It was a photograph of herself as a little girl, smiling beneath an old oak tree in a yellow dress she had not seen in over 25 years. The edges were torn, the colors nearly gone, yet there was no mistake. Somehow, a struggling single father she had never met was carrying the most precious memory of her childhood in his wallet. Before this incredible story unfolds, take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who still believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire for more emotional stories that remind us hope can appear when we least expect it. Morning sunlight poured across the towering glass headquarters of Ashford Dynamics, reflecting brilliant streaks of gold onto the busy streets below. Employees hurried through revolving doors carrying coffee cups and laptops, each racing toward another demanding day. Luxury cars lined the entrance while executives discussed million-dollar deals. Among them walked a man nobody noticed. His name was Elias Rowan, a 38-year-old single father whose faded blue delivery uniform stood in sharp contrast to the expensive suits surrounding him. His boots were worn, his hands rough from years of hard labor, and dark circles beneath his eyes revealed countless sleepless nights spent caring for his 9-year-old daughter, Mara, who suffered from a chronic heart condition requiring frequent hospital visits and expensive medication. Every sunrise began the same way for Elias. Before dawn he prepared breakfast, packed Mara's medicine carefully into her school bag, braided her long chestnut hair despite never learning properly, and left handwritten notes reminding her that courage always grows stronger than fear. After dropping her at school, he worked 2 delivery jobs without complaint, believing every package he carried brought him one step closer to paying the next medical bill. He never spoke about the pain of losing his wife years earlier or the loneliness that followed. His only purpose was giving Mara the childhood she deserved. On that particular morning, Ashford Dynamics had scheduled an important board meeting. The company's young CEO, Vivian Sterling, was known throughout the business world for her intelligence, discipline, and impossible standards. She had transformed the company into a global success before turning 40, yet success had never filled the emptiness left by a painful childhood. Raised in luxury after being adopted by wealthy parents, Vivian often wondered why fragments of her earliest memories felt incomplete. She remembered flashes of sunlight, laughter beneath an enormous oak tree, and someone lifting her high into the air, but every attempt to uncover the truth about her biological family had ended in disappointment. When Elias arrived to deliver several confidential documents, security delayed him because of increased executive protocols. Standing quietly near the reception desk, he reached into his pocket for identification. That simple movement caused his old wallet to fall unnoticed onto the polished floor. Moments later Vivian stepped through the lobby surrounded by advisors discussing international contracts worth hundreds of millions. She almost walked past before seeing the wallet lying alone. She bent down to retrieve it. As she opened it searching for identification, the faded photograph slipped into her hand. Everything around her stopped. The little girl smiling in the picture was unmistakably her. The same yellow birthday dress. The same tiny silver bracelet. The same oak tree that appeared in her recurring dreams. Only one detail had never existed in any family album she owned. A young man stood beside the little girl, his face carefully folded beneath years of wear until only half remained visible. Vivian slowly lifted her eyes toward Elias. Confusion, disbelief, and curiosity overwhelmed her. Instead of returning to the boardroom, she quietly asked her assistants to postpone every meeting that morning. Shock spread across their faces. Investors had flown across continents for those meetings, but for the first time in years, nothing seemed more important than understanding why a stranger carried the only photograph connected to the childhood she barely remembered. Inside her office, sunlight streamed through enormous windows overlooking the city. Elias stood awkwardly, apologizing repeatedly for wasting her time. He assumed he had somehow broken company policy and feared losing his delivery contract, one of the few steady incomes keeping his daughter's treatment alive. He held his cap tightly in trembling hands while Vivian carefully placed the photograph on the desk between them. Without raising her voice, she asked the question that had already changed both their lives. Why did he keep that picture? Elias stared silently at the photograph for several long seconds. His expression shifted from surprise to sadness before finally settling into quiet acceptance. He realized the truth he had hidden for decades could no longer remain buried. 27 years earlier, Elias had been only 11 years old. His widowed father worked as the caretaker of a countryside estate where wealthy families spent their summers. During those months, lonely children often wandered the gardens while adults attended glamorous parties. Among them was a cheerful little girl named Vivian, who ignored social differences completely. She spent afternoons chasing butterflies, climbing hills, and laughing beside the enormous oak tree with the caretaker's son. To her, friendship had never depended on wealth. One afternoon, tragedy struck. A sudden fire broke out inside the estate's oldest guest house. Thick smoke spread rapidly while adults panicked outside. Little Vivian had become trapped upstairs. Without hesitation, 11-year-old Elias rushed through the flames. Ignoring unbearable heat, he found the frightened girl hiding beneath a window and carried her outside moments before part of the roof collapsed. The rescue made local headlines for only a single day before disappearing forever. Soon afterward, Vivian's adoptive parents moved overseas, cutting every connection with the past. Elias never saw her again. Before leaving, one of the estate gardeners had secretly taken a photograph beneath the oak tree and gifted it to Elias, saying true friendships should never be forgotten. For 27 years that picture remained inside his wallet. Not because he expected anything in return. Not because he wanted recognition. But because saving someone had reminded him that even ordinary people could change another life forever. Vivian felt tears slowly gather in her eyes. For decades she had searched for answers through investigators, legal documents, and forgotten records. The answer had quietly traveled through life inside the worn wallet of a struggling single father. Looking across the office, she noticed how exhausted Elias appeared. Only then did she ask about his own life. He reluctantly spoke about Mara, the hospital visits, endless bills, double shifts, and the fear that one day love alone would no longer be enough to save his daughter. Vivian's heart broke. The man who had once risked everything for her had spent years silently sacrificing everything again, this time for his own child. She understood something painful. While the world celebrated billionaires and celebrities, true heroes often walked unnoticed carrying grocery bags instead of trophies. That afternoon, instead of signing investment contracts, Vivian personally visited the children's hospital. Without publicity or media cameras, she arranged for every remaining medical expense related to Mara's treatment to be paid anonymously through the company's family foundation. She also created a scholarship fund for children of single parents facing medical hardship, naming it the Oak Tree Promise, inspired by the photograph that had reunited two forgotten lives. When Elias discovered what she had done weeks later, he quietly cried in the hospital hallway, overwhelmed not by charity but by kindness returning after decades without expectation. Months passed. Mara's health steadily improved. Elias accepted a new position managing community outreach programs for Ashford Dynamics, where his compassion mattered more than any university degree. The faded photograph remained inside his wallet, but now another picture rested beside it. It showed Vivian, Elias, and a smiling Mara standing beneath that same old oak tree, its branches wider than ever, proving that some promises survive the passing of time. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with your family and friends, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire. Your support helps us continue bringing emotional stories that inspire kindness, hope, and second chances. Speech balloon special request. Comment below with, "Kindness always comes back," if you believe one selfless act can change someone's life forever. As the evening sun painted the sky in shades of gold, Elias looked at his daughter laughing freely beneath the ancient oak tree and realized that the greatest miracles are rarely loud. They arrive quietly, carried inside worn-out wallets, hidden in forgotten photographs, and revealed only when the right hearts meet at exactly the right moment. Sometimes the smallest act of courage echoes across decades, reminding us that love never truly disappears, it simply waits for the perfect day to come home.